library clerk and nursery person again. I'm going to do a little talk about pruning junipers and roses. I am filming this on April 23rd because I want to get these things pruned and so you can see it, even though this may be put on the website later. But at any rate, before they get too far along in their growth. First of all is a sea green juniper. Wonderful plant, great as foundation plants, don't get too big. The problem with these we've been seeing, my colleagues and I, the past few years, is that junipers, although they are well adapted to the Northeast, for some reason have been getting a lot of brown growth, just these tips like this. So I'm going to just prune these out today. This is the best thing that we can recommend because obviously it comes right down to fresh growth. So I'm just going to prune that off right there and take those out. It's not a lot, but it's enough that it's noticeable. So I'm pruning out just anything that doesn't look good. Just like that. These are a really nice juniper because they are well adapted to salt and brutality. They are good for commercial planting. So you'll see them in a lot of beds at in parking lots. So these are great. There's a little bit more. I'll prune that out right there. That's all you need to do with these guys. Also, you could just prune these guys right up to shape them if you want. I like mine to look a little more natural, so I just kind of prune out and shape very informally a little later in the season. And then they'll start to fill in nicely with their new growth. Over here is a shrub rose. This is a whiteout. It's a family member with the knockouts, but I like this one better because it just is not a knockout, but it does have a lot of resiliency. These guys take a beating in front of my house year after year, and I'm so impressed by them. So they've already got a lot of their new growth on them, but I didn't want to wait to show how to prune them because once they start to go, they'll really start to flush out. So if you can see, this is the old dead growth from the winter, and you can see that there's a darkened area right there, and then you have your new growth right there. Again, with these guys, you can prune them, shape them nice right now, prune them back a lot because you got a whole growing season to come. But I will take this, I will prune that off right to that next new little growth right there. So I'm going to come around through this entire shrub and just prune out anything that is an old flower stem or something that is absolutely dead like this guy right here. He's going right back, right into there. So this is one shrub rose. Again, this is a great time to cut it back. What you will see on the tips is a lot of that brown dead from overwintering. That's why you shouldn't prune them in the fall because they will have a little dead growth from the winter, and you don't want to start with a very pruned out plant where you're pruning back even more in the spring. Over here, I'm going to show you another one. Right here, this is a Julia Child. She's a beautiful butter color yellow apple scented rose. I thought she was a goner a couple seasons ago. She's back and she means business. So you can see again, I left all this growth from last fall. Ain't pretty now, but it's going right away, right now. Right like that. Oh, she likes me. There we go. So again, this one, not a big plant like the other one, but I'm going to prune it back enough that it flushes out through the summer. It'll start getting a lot more branching and just fill in laterally with stems and leaves. So that's kind of it for those kinds of plants this time of year. You know, as far as fertilizing, you might want to give your roses a little something right now. There are rose foods. Espoma is a good company. They have a rose food specifically. Just a little bit around out at the edges of the plant, not close to the center. You don't want to burn it. And get it right into the soil and water it in a little bit. But we've had a very mild winter for the most part, so these guys don't look half as bad as they could. Hopefully we'll have some nice warmer weather coming now and you'll start to see these guys really flower up, bud up and flower up soon. All right, happy gardening and hopefully we'll see you again.